Hello, everybody. It's 11:30 on October 8th. We will go ahead and get started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I am not singing.
All right. Hello. I'll start with a couple of announcements, which are not all that different than what we normally have. This meeting is being recorded by the local scene. Anyone intending to make an audio or video recording of this meeting should notify the chair at this time. Any of you guys recording this? Okay. Anybody on Zoom? Can't tell. I don't think so. There are several volunteer opportunities at the Council on Aging, including but not limited to Meals on Wheels, volunteer help at the cafe, volunteers needed for with computer skills, senior tax write-off, and others. If you're interested in any of these or would like to just volunteer in general, please reach out to the director of the COA.
Can I just mention something?
What's that?
The volunteer help at the cafe, they're looking for people to sit at the table to
Okay.
take
The money
money
and
and
orders.
orders.
Perfect.
That's
what that
they
help
need.
is specifically. So it's not kitchen help.
Yeah.
It's,
No,
it's
it's not.
Thank you for the clarification. And then as a reminder, the email to reach us here at the advisory board is COA-AB for advisory board at kingstonma.gov. Right? Is anyone here for open forum? All right, we're going to move on. We have some minutes from September that Donna drafted for us. I know that you guys didn't, due to my clerical error. Did you even get it? Did you get it? Did I send it this morning to you, Jim? Well, anyway, I drafted that email on Saturday or Sunday, and then it sat in my outbox all weekend until this morning. Until it was Joan actually that said, do we have an agenda? What's our meeting? And I went, oh, so I know you guys just got this morning. Has everyone had an opportunity to read it? Or would you like to postpone the acceptance of these until next month?
Next month,
You want to do that?
yeah,
Is everybody on
Please.
board with postponing the?
yeah, because I didn't have a
Yeah.
chance to read.
Okay,
them.
so we're gonna go ahead and postpone that.
Thank you.
Of course. That was my error. We've done this before. It's no big,
Oh, yeah.
postponing, it's no big deal. November.
Oh, imagine Thanksgiving, yay.
Craziness. That is craziness. Okay. Moving on. So I had been under the impression that the Board of Selectmen had already received and approved the grant funding for the age and dementia study, the $35,000. But Donna brought to my attention that it's actually on their Board of Selectmen's agenda for tonight, that the acceptance of it. So I believe that the difference is that the money's there waiting for the COA. They just haven't physically accepted it. So I'm not sure. We can still talk about if Polly happens to know what the next steps would be after. The point of our first new business was really just to try to figure out if you know, I don't think any of us do, what the next step would be, assuming that they accept the funding and we have access to it.
I assume that we would be in touch with someone from the Old Colony Planning Council.
Okay.
To start the process of the putting together the study.
The study, right? The survey.
The survey, yep.
Okay. I guess I'll just add that obviously if you need any help from any of us, keep us posted as you find out about any of that. Do you need any of us to attend tonight? I mean, it appears that that's the only reason that we're on the agenda. So are you able to go? Are you going?
I haven't been asked to go.
Okay,
I can, but was not made aware that we needed, that any of us needed.
actually, we
to.
could just watch from home. So does somebody want to volunteer just to watch and be there for questions in case they happen to have any for us? Are you gonna watch it, Donna? Do you wanna, do you wanna take the lead in case somebody asks questions about it? Okay, great. All right, so more to come.
You're talking to her?
To Maureen,
Who's it
So-
calling? Which one?
Donna will be watching.
Donna's gonna watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And hopefully it's just a,
Selected me too,
I think
so
it's just
I'll
the
watch.
A rubber
it.
acceptance
stamp.
of the monies.
it should just be a
I
rubber
never
stamp.
get involved.
Don't do that.
Don't you do that, because if I
So
go.
they can vote not to accept this, is that what we're talking about?
Okay.
I mean,
Tonight.
I suppose they could. I think that there's a pretty good chance that they know they know we've been chasing this money for some money, any money
Mhm.
for this reason. So, I mean, I'd like to presume that it's just a formality, that they're just gonna accept it. That's the hope.
I would,
Is that Joanne Zigmore
I think it
that will
is.
communicate with you?
I'd have to double check.
Okay.
It sounds familiar, but
I
I
think it
Her
is.
name sounds familiar to me too.
Colony Planning Council.
Okay, all right, more to come. I believe that the Board of Selectmen did approve our code of conduct at their last meeting 2 weeks ago, so there wasn't really much for discussion about that. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that that got done. It does not mean that we can't revisit it in the future, should there be questions or concerns that people wanted to bring back up. But at least right now, all the revisions that we hashed out over the last several months have been reviewed and approved. So at least we have a document, an updated document. Okay. Anyone have any questions about that?
I did,
Okay,
where is it? The one about, the suspension,
in the paragraph about that?
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm trying to find. Okay, okay, the first offense is verbal.
Mhm.
Second, I'm just gonna say, the second offense is written. And then the third is suspension. I want to cross off going right to the suspension. I think we should go by, to cut that out. I'm new at my mouth too. And I can't find it. Well, I mean, I have the first offense, second offense, third offense,
Mhm.
but everything was, yeah. Ah, there we are.
Reserves the right to
Not
dispense
the
with
last paragraph there,
Notwithstanding?
notwithstanding foregoing. That's the one.
Well, my notes. Let's see.
Oh, this is the one in red.
You know what,
And
actually,
then-
as of last month's meeting,
Yeah.
Mary Beth was going to try to send us a full copy of the final approved version, that we had made discussions on it, and I don't believe we got that. Did she
No.
happen to share that with you? Or could you-
I have a paper copy. I don't have the electronic version, but I.
No,
can-
that's fine. Okay, so why don't we do this, Maureen? If that could be scanned, maybe, and then sent out to us. And you believe that's the updated one that the Board of
Yes,
Selectmen
and
approved?
because there's some changes in
Yes.
blue that need to be incorporated in.
Okay.
This was the approved version.
This is the approved version. Okay, so if we can get that for next month. And then I would say, let's bring, if there's questions, why don't we talk about it then?
Okay,
So,
alright.
because right now I'm working off,
Yeah,
none of us have,
no,
We have,
we have bits and pieces, right?
Right.
Where did I get this?
Yeah. she's got it right.
You got it too, yeah. To review
That's
the
the one I'm
final
looking at.
document. You
Okay,
So am I understanding you do not want a written or a verbal, you just want to go to direct suspension?
oh, no, no,
No.
I'd rather do the verbal, do the written.
Yeah.
And then the suspension.
Oh, okay.
I
yeah, I
don't
think-
think we should go
Go
right to the
directly.
suspension. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's
Okay.
fair.
you can talk, it's on, we can talk about it.
Okay, so we've
Okay.
had two incidents, and somebody was very disrespectful. You want us to write them and say you can't be disrespectful, but you can come back into the building?
Well,
Is
that
this
is
what I'm
the-
understanding?
That's the nature of a first offense verbal warning.
Yeah.
You know, so
verbal
as it
So
reads-
Then the second offense, again, is written.
Yeah.
And that would be a short
So
term.
in other words, the incidents that did happen and they were suspended immediately, is that what, for a month? You don't want that happening.
No, she
No, I
does.
don't think.
She does. I think it's just the opposite of what you're thinking. If I understand Maureen correctly, she wants the steps to be done in order and not circumvented going right to the end.
Okay, but has that
Why have
happened?
the two,
Yes.
why
That
have the
happened with
verbal and the written if
Can't
we're
talk
gonna
about
go right
this
to a
with it.
suspension?
Yeah, it doesn't matter who it has or hasn't happened to,
But it
honestly.
has
Now it's just
happened.
moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah,
You know, we're talking about the process.
Going right
So,
forward.
treated equal.
exactly. You know,
let's see.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I mean, if I did something wrong, I would rather have the verbal,
Yeah,
then get a written, and if I did it again, then that'd
Then
be a
written.
written warning. Then if I did it again,
Third
okay,
time.
kick me in the butt and kick me out,
Yeah.
whatever.
So I understand your perspective completely. If that language isn't there, and for sake of argument, the offense is so egregious that there's no question that it might warrant just expulsion. I'm just making something up, but you know, there's a chance of that.
there
Yeah,
is.
there is a chance.
There's a chance
like
of something
what
that
happened with.
So
Well, you
should,
can't say
you know,
that.
should that happen and we take that language out, then we may not have the opportunity, Holly may not have the opportunity to
Just
say,
suspend.
I'm sorry, but this is,
Yeah.
you know, it could be a legal offense. It
Could be an assault.
it could be something really significantly. So I think this is up for conversation, up for debate, not even has to be decided on today by any means. But I think that, I guess I hear you on and I believe all of us probably agree. I'll put words in everybody's mouth, would like for typical things to go first, second,
Third.
third. But I would be personally hesitant to vote to remove that paragraph because there could be the possibility that something could be something could happen, something police related, which at that
Well,
point in
then-
time,
Well, 911 should be called or something like that. if
well,
it
of
happens.
course, but after
After
the dust settles on that, it's hard to then say, okay, we're just gonna give a written warning for that person. So, I don't know, that's my thoughts. Who else has thoughts?
That's my thought too.
Each case is gonna be
Different.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
But I totally agree if it's a grievous, you know, if it's a very, very bad offense,
Oh,
like an
yeah.
assault. A
So-
physical,
Oh, 911 is the-
911 and you're out.
But
You're
still,
out,
it
yeah.
could still be going on while they're getting here, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we should keep it the way it
I
is.
think if we were to limit it, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that it's there to protect the staff, the building, and the trust in the director we've always had to have the trust in the director for judgment when something happens, which way it should go.
Yeah.
So that's my thought on if we take that language out, our hands might be tied. Should we need to use it?
No,
I don't think it should come out at all.
I don't
Okay.
think, I think it's good the way it is. Are you okay with that?
Okay.
What do you think? Just
Yeah,
in
but
case
I-
something basically what you said.
So we can all say that our strong, you know, we can say to Holly or, you know, our strong preference is that, you know, depending on the nature of the offense, of course, we'd like the steps to be followed as written.
Recorded, yeah.
Well,
Um,
hopefully, since we know it can happen,
Mhm.
that, people will remember how it happened
Sure.
and not provoke that type of action.
At the discretion of the director.
So nothing
That's
needs
it.
to be changed or voted on. I mean, it is what it is. But we'll still ask that Holly just send us that final copy, so we all have a nice, clean, 100% version of it. For our records.
Can we also put something in there that the director should notify the board?
She does.
We
I've been,
didn't know about the other one. We didn't know about a certain person.
Yeah, but going forward, that is in there
Going
and that we
forward.
will
But that-
know.
That's already been apologized and explained. so-
Yes, last week.
Yes, we already did that.
sorry, Maureen. That was my fault too.
It was.
Yeah.
That was my fault too.
Yeah, see.
If you weren't at that meeting, you might have missed it.
They, yeah,
What
no,
we- What, with Keith?
No, last month.
Last month.
So I apologize in it, last month because I had gotten notice. I
Yeah.
had not shared it with everyone and, I should have.
So we reprimanded her and accepted her.
Thanks, Lon.
I know. I know. I'm only human too.
No, I know.
And I'm very, very
So am I,
busy.
only human,
I'm very busy.
Yes.
right?
Would anyone else like to comment at all about the rest, anything else about the code of conduct?
So leave it alone?
Yeah, right? Okay. We could always move it to old business too, if there's other questions or, whatever,
Down the road.
down the road.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the only other thing on my agenda is, the job description that we all received a copy from Keith. Oh, and, I guess, as I understand it, it was up, he had handed it to us for review to see if there was anything that, caught our eye, anything that we wanted to, request changes of. We don't get to physically do this, but, he would take, it sounded like he was gonna take our comments under advisement and determine if changes need to be made. Would anyone like to open the floor with any conversation about this?
Well, I think if we're gonna talk about it, we should go heading by heading so that we're not jumping all through, so that we'll.
That's a good
manage
idea.
To get it.
Yeah.
All done at once and not all over the place.
Sure, that's no
And
problem.
I also noticed that it was revised in 2010. The original approval was 1995. So evidently it's been working, so.
It has been,
And,
Pretty well written.
yeah,
honestly, I only saw a few kind of clerical things.
right, so that's why
myself, But,
to discuss it line by line would be a great thing. Everybody would have a chance to put their comments in. So
Okay.
if you don't mind, definition, as far as I'm concerned, is perfect.
yeah, I don't see any reason to change
There's no
anything.
change. Anybody else want to go to the next one? I did supervision. I was always under the impression that the chain of command was different, but on here, it says that it's the Board of Selectmen first and the Council on Aging next, under the administrative direction of the town administrator. So to me, it looks like the chain of command is Board of Selectmen, us, and town manager.
Mhm.
Does
So-
that isn't how it was
It's not,
presented.
so I
to us
don't read
prior.
Board of Selectmen and Council on Aging as 1 and 2. I just read that as collective.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, so, and again, this is policy direction.
Yeah.
Okay? These aren't programming. This is, for the most part, policy direction. Really, it's, as we know, it gets discussed here amongst us first, and then we
Make a.
kick it up to the Board of Selectmen. But I mean, we could ask for those two to be reversed. And then, Mary brought up a good point, the word committee, really, it should be advisory board, right?
Yeah.
And I agree.
Right.
And then I had that written down.
Yeah, so we could ask that even though I don't think this is intended to be a in order kind of thing, we could ask that the committee, that our advisory board gets mentioned first and then the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
Mhm. Any other questions or comments about that? Okay.
I have nothing else with,
Under supervision?
honestly,
I mean, it says supervises the equivalent of 3 full-time,
Right.
part-time employees and numerous volunteers. I'm imagining that there's a little flex in there. How many full-timers are there now?
3.
Okay,
Well, there's currently 3.
and there should be 4 though, right?
We've had upwards of 4 full-time and 1
Okay.
part-time.
I almost wonder if it should just
That
say
number fluctuates.
supervises,
Yes,
period, full-time, part-time, and volunteers.
I would agree. You don't need to
Yes.
assign a number to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take out the 3.
and I had that highlighted. That's exactly what I
Yeah,
would
maybe
say. just take
supervises
a
all
Yeah.
full,
Full-time,
part,
yeah.
numerous. Okay, great. Work environment. I didn't really see anything, major in here.
I was looking at work includes home visits. We now have an outreach counselor. Does the director still need to be part of that going out and visit?
it may not be, it could be delegated. But should that person not be available, should it not be delegated to somebody else? I think it needs to be in this job description as a possibility of happening, so you gotta take this as the
Yeah.
person coming in is gonna be reading this saying, oh, I might have to go to people's homes, right? So, but you're absolutely right, it could be delegated to an outreach person,
We
for
have the
sure.
outreach person. Okay, that's what.
But
I thought.
as we know, we haven't a year and a half, or over a year almost,
Yeah.
so, my instinct is it should stay.
Okay.
It should stay.
The last director did go to a couple of
I,
homes.
I think Mary Beth had gone
Sometimes
to.
it's-
Yeah.
House two.
You know,
Beyond.
Sure.
Yeah,
She did.
so they don't take it away from.
No.
them.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, I didn't have anything else on the rest of this page, and I'm ready to jump ahead if everyone else is.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Essential functions. Honestly, I thought this was actually very well written. I think it really did outline, for anyone looking at this for the first time. I think it really did a good job of outlining all the responsibilities.
I just had what else? I have more questions.
Okay.
Uh,
The whole point of this,
Yeah,
whole point
yeah.
of this.
Services designed to enhance and support the lifestyle of residents over the age of 60. We have a group of ADA people who qualify that are not 60. Are they allowed to come to any like bingo or any of our
Where are you
programs?
getting that?
That's the first main paragraph.
Oh,
Second page.
OC plan?
Yes,
Yeah.
that paragraph at the end.
Okay, okay.
You know, the ADA, the challenged adults that are out there, they live in group homes, they used to like to come to our programs
Yeah.
if there was music or whatever, but they're not
Mhm.
60.
No.
Are they've not been in,
I think that
And able
that's
to
been,
come.
that's actually, we talked about that not that long ago, and it must have been. I don't remember, what document we were reviewing, but we talked about that, and those people do come now. And I think
I
they've always,
heard that
they've
they
always
had.
been an exception,
Mhm.
an allowed exception, as are guests. If someone coming needs an aid or something, and those aides don't qualify on their own, they've always
I
been.
mean, you've got somebody from and you've got somebody
Right, and of
working.
course, now the cafe is outside, so I think,
It does say age of 60. I think that needs, how do you word that? They have to be over the age of 60. They're not.
well, admit, the last line of the first paragraph.
Oh, I get it.
Are you just talking about bingo?
I'm talking
Because there
about,
are
No, we're
people-
talking about the,
There are people that come to bingo that are
I
under
think-
60.
yeah, but they all.
See?
Some of the,
Yeah.
some of the programs we used to
Oh, I
have,
know,
like,
but nobody knows that.
they were coming in.
Oh, yeah,
You know.
Good morning, Mr. Hickey.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
morning, sir.
We're in the process of going over the, job description. Did you come bearing news or just to watch?
Just checking in.
You got it, all right.
Hey,
ADA person automatically.
I think that's an
Right.
automatic exception. That's
Yeah,
my,
when we-
that's where I was,
ADA is
that's where I was
accepted.
going with my line of thinking, is that we may not need to add in those things because
Right.
they are already kind of automatic exceptions.
Right.
So what we don't want is, somebody 35 coming in and doing Zumba with everyone else,
Or
right? So I
coming
think
in
there
and
needs
like-
to be something in
A
there,
group coming in to play bingo that is under.
right? So I think, I feel like the language is
Yeah.
fine, knowing that those other exceptions that you talked about are already,
Kind of assumed
right,
and were
Right.
taken, but now they're back being assumed. So that's a good. So what are we gonna do about that?
I think personally, I think it's fine to leave it. Does anyone else have any questions about it or opinions about it, I should say? Okay, so I have something much further down on the page, but does anyone have anything between here and the end of the page?
I don't.
So my only question, this was really more of a Holly question, administers and provides direct supervision for the town's transportation program. Has that now been definitively switched over? GATRA performs that, right?
So our vans are loaned through Gatra.
Okay.
But we.
You still organize it. All right, I've gotten lost in the transitioning of that.
Yeah.
Okay,
all of
then the
this-
language stays as it is.
All the scheduling is done in-house,
Perfect.
the dispatching and stuff.
For some reason, I thought I thought that entire thing had gone. It had for a while. The people were calling GATRA for a while.
Yes.
I think I
Yeah.
forgot that it had come back
Yeah.
in-house.
Which
Yep.
is
That's
great.
all.
That's
So good.
great.
So it's fine the way it is.
One other question, a couple paragraphs up. Responsible for direction and supervision of professional employees to include outreach. What about transportation?
Van drivers, it says.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
But I
say-
mean the transportation employee.
We could
Yes.
probably add in maybe in other positions as they exist or something, I think we could maybe add some blanket language. 'Cause certain positions might come and go,
Right.
right? But maybe,
Holly, is she considered a full-time staffer? Patty, in
Yes.
transportation?
She was-
yeah, so I don't know what the right language is to add that, but
Right.
we can, let Keith know that maybe just add some blanket language for it. Anything else on that page?
Me, anybody?
On this whole page, I only have a clerical question or a clerical comment, nothing. I think the substance of everything here makes perfect sense to me. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the sixth paragraph down,
Who prepares and publishes the monthly newsletter? You know,
but some of this you gotta take, I think, with a little bit of a grain of salt. It may not be the physical director preparing the stuff,
They work
but
together.
at their direction, the stuff is getting done. Is how I would read that. They're allowed to assign duties. There's a paragraph up at the top, duties and, work perform, they're allowed to assign that stuff out. Prepares and submits annual report to, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs. And reports as requested by the Council on Aging. I just wanted to add the word board there. Because again, the director really is the Council on Aging. We are simply the board. So this is right above recommended minimum qualifications, Holly.
I'm missing.
Oh, okay. This is page 3. Go on.
Mine skips to page.
On the back.
All right then.
Never done, oh, the back of it.
Page 3.
Might be the back of this, I just found my.
That's fine. Okay. Well, so as the paragraph reads,
Oh, I was on there.
That's weird.
I'm looking at it.
I just wanted to add the word board because it just talks about preparing, it talks about us. The intention of this paragraph, part of this paragraph is it's saying, prepare reports as requested by the Council on Aging. And I just think it needs to have the words advisory reports there. That's all.
Well, it's a board here. Doesn't say it.
Well, the next, yeah,
The first
comma,
page
the
there.
Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Oh,
Oh, you're missing page 3. Okay, no problem.
It's on the back, isn't it?
No.
I thought you said that was the wrong page.
This is
One,
what was passed
two.
out.
4.
That's
I have
what's
Do you
on
want me
the-
to make copies of yours?
Oh, all right,
One.
all right.
2, 4.
So everybody's missing page 3?
Not
Mary.
Well, you made mine, so you didn't do it right.
1, 2,
Shame,
3, so it's
shame.
just page 3. Okay.
It's what was given to her, Lucy. What was given to
It's all good.
They just put together a couple of stuff.
I'm not-
It probably skipped on the
Yeah.
copier.
Exactly.
That's all.
Oh, yeah, sure, blame us, blame
Blame the
someone.
copy,
Skipped on the copier.
not the
I'm gonna blame
copy.
the staple on it, probably put it in the wrong time.
Are we,
Do you have any other comments about that paragraph or it's the same thing?
No.
Same.
are we
comments.
moving on?
Yeah.
I thought we almost done.
We are
You're-
almost
oh,
done.
You're on your third page. We don't have the third page.
Oh, okay.
We'll wait 2 more seconds. Hold, please. Hold, please.
You have something else?
Yeah, I bet a lot.
Well, we were commenting, Keith, before you came in, is that we thought the job description actually was quite comprehensive. There's really only a few kind of clerical tweaks that we saw. substance of the description
It's pretty
actually
well rounded.
sounded great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good job, Keith.
I didn't do it.
No, he wasn't here in 2010.
You have them?
Thank you.
This is kind of
Thank
been
you.
around for a while.
I'm okay.
Are we gonna-
1995, were you kidding?
No, it's not.
Thanks, Ken.
That'll be next.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Make a comment, absolutely.
Were you here?
Okay.
I was- no, was I
So the
born?
paragraph we were talking about, for everybody that didn't have page 3,
Okay.
was kind of the paragraph almost smack dab in the middle of the page.
Yes, it's-
Prepares and
it's-
submits annual report, starting with that line. When it prepares various reports as requested by the Council on Aging Advisory Board, are the words we want to add there.
Okay.
All right, here.
And then it's comma, Board of Select, and the rest of it reads fine. Everybody with us? All right, cool. Minimum qualifications. I thought that this was actually very well written too, as far as things that, that we're gonna be looking for. Were there comments about this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I'd like to take out the word minimum. Because in an under ability to interact with the elderly and incompetent. I think that's a major qualification for a director.
Well, sure, but if we take out the word minimum, I mean, these are the baseline. Ultimately, when candidates are being screened, hopefully we'll find somebody with qualifications maybe above all of this stuff, but the whole reason the word minimum there is these are the minimum benchmarks that need to be made. So we can stress certain things, you know, if any of us are on the committee, the review committee, for whoever candidates may be, you know, we can certainly, I think, stress certain parts. The way I read recommended minimum qualifications is it has to be these and then potentially more, is the way I read it. Anybody else have any thoughts on
I
that?
agree with that too.
So,
We do. No, we do with the minimum should stay.
how that's implemented as with screening candidates?
I think it's huge.
Absolutely. Oh, I don't disagree with you.
I just think the word. Because it's lesser of the others that you've said they have to have. And it isn't. Because that's what we are, senior community.
Mhm.
We have to be able to get along with them.
Yep.
All of them, 50 to 80.
Well, and that's why it's indicated as, it's a minimum qualification, meaning
Lesser.
they can't have anything less than what's listed here. It's
Okay.
what's listed here
I-
and potentially stronger.
It's okay.
I have a question on the knowledge of federal, state, and local services.
Yep.
Would that include shine, fuel assistance, and food stamps?
That's how I read that.
Yeah, that's what
You
I
know, it's a
thought.
blanket statement.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily.
I don't
need
think we have to
be-
outline them. I
Right.
think it's more of somebody that knows how to navigate
Right.
that
Okay.
realm.
You don't
Overall.
have to mention shine experience. plus.
Yeah.
I mean, I
but
don't
it's
know.
under- It
I
it
would
would come
under
under
those.
that.
I think it would come under that, but I mean, it's not my decision. I'm just saying, I'm reading that paragraph as, I'm sure there's dozens of federal, state, and local services and
Right.
resources, or more than dozens.
So if it was an interview time, that can be asked.
Sure.
What is your what is
I
your
think that's the
knowledge of?
intention.
Yeah.
I read that as that's the intention here.
Me too. Me too.
Okay. Any other
Love to
questions before we flip the page?
I would love to see something from Mass Health, but nobody can find anybody from Mass Health. It's
Oh,
difficult.
well, I think it would still fall under the same heading.
It would. It
You
would,
know,
but
yeah.
it's tough to navigate.
mm.
Ask
Well, now
them.
that we have a dedicated outreach person, maybe they'll have different,
Mm.
I don't know.
I think it's good.
Anything under, can anybody think of any special requirements above and beyond needing a license that they would want to have added? All right, or, physical requirements, I mean, when I read through the physical requirements, it all seemed pretty,
Yeah, that's
pretty
basic.
basic. Any other comments? Most of it's, I mean, again, I kind of felt like it was pretty well written.
Yeah, it was.
So Keith, what I'll do is I could send this to you with with some comments. I mean, but like I said, most of it's all just really just clerical. Holly, were there anything that you noted that?
Nope.
Okay. All right, I can send that to you, Keith. May I ask, since kind of under the same purview, has there been any, I'm sure you were waiting for this, but, do you have a timeline in mind as to when it might get posted
Yeah,
or?
try to get it posted, if not later this week, early next.
Okay, great. Okay. I'm gonna say ASAP. All right, so that is it for our agenda items. Holly, do you have anything you'd like to discuss from a director report perspective?
Go.
Go,
Interim
girl.
director.
Interim director perspective.
No, I just last week was busy. We're still moving forward, business as usual, programming and transportation and outreach, all the things that we do on
Sure,
a
on a regular
regular
basis.
basis.
Yep.
So I'm just here to support the staff, whatever they need, sort of, liaison with Keith, and we've been in touch daily about things that are going on, but
Okay.
And we're here to help you.
yes, everyone is here to help.
What's that?
What did he say? What did he? Are you pressure?
She's very
That
helpful.
closet
He's
is
empty. He's being a brat.
Chairman's report. I don't have a formal report for you. But I am gonna, just mention that, I've been told by Mary Harriman that she is not interested or can't really continue to move forward as officially as secretary. She does want to stay a member of the board, but she can't move forward as secretary. So, kind of need to figure it out. Now, Donna has been pinch hitting for us for the last couple of months. I don't want to make any assumptions, but is anyone else interested in helping, or has the ability to help with the secretary role?
helping.
Don't, no. We're gonna-
Donna, are you willing to assume the
Well,
secretary
no,
role?
I've been doing, and if I need help, I'll ask the
Reach out.
ladies.
Okay. All right. So Donna's going to
We
be
can work
our
together.
interim secretary?
Yes.
Can we get a secretary?
No, we can't.
Secretary.
We asked about that,
I did
actually.
ask, they said
That was a
it
while
wasn't in our
ago.
budget.
Exactly.
You have to
Yeah, and
have
I was
it
like,
in
oh,
your
the Board of
budget, yeah.
Selectmen has somebody taking notes. Can we have one too? And they went, nope. So no, we have to solve for this amongst ourselves there.
Keith, can you be our secretary?
I could, I'm not going to.
Or we may not want the notes that come out of that. Let's see here.
It was some-
I put under old business, the building usage agreement, because I think that was another thing, Holly, that, Mary Beth probably had intended to bring. We had talked about it, we had made some recommended changes.
She was gonna update it.
She was gonna update
Final.
us and give us like a final, version of that.
Right.
Mhm.
So if possible, maybe we can get those two things, that and the, not that the code of conduct needs to be reviewed again, but just to have that final version,
Mm.
maybe prior to the meeting. That way we'll be able to review it and maybe just vote on it definitively.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Send it.
Yeah, this is-
All right. And
Anybody know anybody to be remembered?
that's the question.
All the victims from the
Yeah.
hurricanes.
Sure.
And what is gonna be happening in Florida
Quite intense
tonight
down there.
into
I have a
tomorrow.
lot of family down
We
there.
have to take a moment and hope that they'll all be safe. It's devastating.
It's really unprecedented,
My
as they're
sister
saying.
doesn't know if she's gonna have a home.
Yeah,
It's how they all feel, I think.
it's unbelievable.
My phone
Thank you for
call
mentioning
was,
that.
if people are gonna, if they're telling you to get out of there, get out of
Please,
there. You know?
right.
Don't be
Right.
stubborn.
Holly, was there anything else you wanted to add just in general?
Nope.
Okay. Our next regular meeting will be November 12th at 11:30 here at the center and also on Zoom. If there's any questions or concerns between now and then, please utilize that email box.
Did you
Um,
ask anybody should be there tonight? Or did you need anybody there for that?
Oh, we could, I mean, Keith, we saw on your agenda tonight, the acceptance of the donation in grant money for the COA. Did you
Yeah.
need any of us to actually be there, or is that
No,
just a
so
rubber
those-
stamp?
No, those grants are, so the donations obviously will be accepted. The grant that we're speaking of tonight is a $5,000 grant that the grocery stores provided.
Oh.
We didn't know about that one.
Great, so it's the 35,000 plus,
35,000 is, we don't typically, the board doesn't typically accept those community comp, or haven't accepted those community compact grants in the past.
okay,
This grant is, I said it's a grant, I think $5,000 towards,
For the stove, is that one?
maybe that's what it was.
The one for two.
so I had been under the impression from the last meeting that the
30.
compact grant, the big sum of money was accepted and approved, whatever the right terminology was, but that we're getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay.
So the state has approved that.
So this is
I,
different then.
But it didn't appear
fill out
on
the
any.
paperwork.
Okay. All right, great. So these are just different smaller grants. So you don't, I'm hearing you don't need us. It's,
Exactly what you
Please,
I'd love to have you write the number, you don't have.
okay,
Please don't come.
very good.
So.
We won't bog you down.
So again, it's 35,000.
It's done. It's done.
But
So
it wasn't
what-
discussed.
What Keith said that was that, there's no formal approval process for
Okay.
compact grant money.
So we got it.
We got it. We
yeah,
got it.
now what do
So
we
back
do
to
with
this.
this?
All right.
Well, now we have to make committees. We
Who
have
wants to go on what vacation?
So it may, and you may not know the answer to this, Keith, and I know none of us at the table really have this answer, but is there a time frame at which that money needs to be used by? Or once we have it, it can sit in that, so we're kind of thinking of, we don't really know next steps yet. We all have to kind of figure this out. And, are we going to be, if you're even aware, is there any chance that that money would disappear after a certain period of time if it's not utilized?
They're pretty generous with, I think, the timelines that they have, as long as we're moving forward, making progress. The understanding I thought I had been given previously was that they were gonna work with the University of,
UMass.
UMass Boston, UMass Amherst to, they're the group that has done these sort of,
The surveys, I think.
questionnaire surveys
Yeah.
in the past. So it makes sense just to, reach out to them and try to get a sense of next steps.
Great, and I think that's what we already talked about. Well, I actually do think it's Old Colony Planning. It's, that's who I think, that's who's
Yep.
now, that's VU's, not the
Is that
venue
still-
anymore.
Joanne Zigmont from Old Colony
It's
Planning.
that's who it is. Yeah, so what we talked about at the beginning of the meeting is Holly's gonna reach out to her about,
Right, this was in August.
next- it is not, it's not VU or UMass, it's Old Colony.
We have to plan, certain boards.
Mhm.
They suggest 4 boards to start.
Maybe
It's a
what we
long
could do,
process.
Holly,
Yeah.
is part of the conversation or communication you have with her is, maybe it may make sense to have her either Zoom in with a meeting, or come, whatever
Yeah.
works. And then, we can kind of hear the rest of the timeline, and then the needs from us.
It-
Because I remember, you're right, there was,
It took
forming
Duxbury
boards and,
2.5 years to get going.
okay.
Um,
So it
These are
sounds like we're
some-
not we're not under the gun in any, jeopardy of losing the funding if it doesn't happen right away.
We need to have a task force for 4 different entities of the program.
Okay. Anybody have any questions before we, call for adjournment? All right. Anybody have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Wonderful. All in favor?
Aye.
12:14. Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Thank
day.
you.